now let's focus on implementing website edit, right? We have this cog that when we click on it, it navigates to the edit page for this particular website. So here, what we'd like to be able to do is split the page in half. Well, or maybe one third and 2/3 split, right? So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use, again, the grid system defined by Bootstrap. So let's link and load the Bootstrap library. And let's see, we have href, and we have, we're going to go back up a couple of times, down to vendors, to, what do we have there? Bootstrap, what do we have there? Dist, and CSS, and Bootstrap min. There we go. Right? And we're going to create here maybe an outer div with a container to give it at least some margin around our content. And we're going to have h1 here with website edit. Okay? All right, so let's see. There we go. So we have website edit. So what we'd like to be able to do is declare a left-hand side and a right-hand side, right? Where the left-hand side might have, again, the list of all the websites. And on the right-hand side, we'd like to have an editor for the website that we're editing, okay? That's selected. So on the left-hand side, what we could do is create a row, right, that contains two columns, right? The left column and the right column. So for the div on the left-hand side, this is going to be the list of websites. So list of websites. And on the other one is going to be the editor. So website editor, right? And right now is just one on top of each other, right? We need to paint it, we need to style it by saying that this should behave like a column, right? And we'll go with maybe 3 on the left-hand side, and we'll go with class. The remainder would be 9, right? This would be 9. Right, so we have 3 and 9. Everybody okay? All right. All right, so now that we have that, we can focus on implementing this left-hand side, which is very, very similar to what we already have. So let's do that. So really, really quick, this would be UL class list group, right? And this would be LI class list group item, and this would have one website. So this would be Facebook, and a whole bunch of these, right? Plus the anchor that would navigate, right? Maybe to the website edit again. And then the anchor with a cog. So this is span, class, glyphicon, and then glyphicon with the cog. There we go. And we're gonna send this to the right-hand side. So pull this to the right. There you go. So we have Facebook on that left-hand side. We might have a whole bunch of these. So I'm just gonna copy a whole bunch of this. Yeah, I really, really like Facebook. All right, so we plus on the very first one we might display the name. So this might be name without the cog, and highlight this to be active. All right, so that it should look like a little bit of that, right? So that when you navigate between each other, it looks as if the list is still there, right? It's just that we've added the editor on the right-hand side, right? As you navigate between these two. So on the right-hand side, you'll have an editor, right? So the editor might look something like you have maybe a label that says that this is the name of the website, and then an input field that is styled to be a form element. Right, so you have the name, plus a placeholder, plus all that other good stuff. Plus here maybe the description of the description of the website. So implement it using not table, a text area. text area. Notice that I'm not doing this. Right? Notice that the text area, if I click here, notice that there's some phantom white spaces here that were added that I didn't explicitly add it. Actually, I did. Since all this over here is interpreted as little literal spaces, right? So typically, what we want to do is render it so that they're touching to one another, so there's no space in between. Okay. So let's render that. Now notice that there's no phantom white space in there, and by default, it adds this resizing, which you can also turn off. But I like it. Let's leave it that. All right. So let's focus on what we might want to do. Is that as this becomes smaller and smaller, it's already doing it? No, wait, what? Wait, what did we choose here? Oh, small, SM. See that? We chose SM3 and SM9, right? And what that says is that for SM, yeah, small screens, I want these columns, I want this layout for small screens and above. So small screens, medium screens, and large screens, right? But I don't want them for below, extra small screens. So as I make this smaller, right? I am already entering in the offset, right? In the threshold where I am becoming a small screen, which is, I don't know, 500 pixels or something, I forget. And it looks this big because I am zoomed in, right? But typically, it would look something like that. So that's 100%. So a small screen is that's considered small screen, right? Which for today's phones, small screens could be fairly with a very high resolution, right? Indeed. So what we'd like to be able to do is not do this, right? Notice that the default behavior is that is not using the layout, is not using float, and everything goes to the default block behavior, right? I take up the entire width of the screen, and everything else just goes underneath me, and I push everything down, right? Here we're overriding, we're saying that we do want that. Anyway, so what we'd like actually to happen is that as I become small, what I'd like to happen is that since this is the edit screen, I don't really need that left-hand side, okay? Because that's only there because, well, I have more space. Might as well fill it in with something, right? Useful that will allow me to navigate, perhaps. And it's a very common way to lay out content. So what I'd like to be able to do is actually get rid of the left-hand side, right, and just keep the right-hand side. And we already saw how to hide stuff, right, and just remove it so that it doesn't display, right? We can use the hidden class. So let's do that. So what we could do here is that yes, I want it for small screens and above, but for small screens, I want to hidden in small, really, really small screens. So let's do that. If we refresh, right, and we start making it small, notice that indeed it disappears. Right? It disappears, and it allows me to render just the right-hand side without the left-hand side. Make sense? Everybody okay? All right. And the other couple of things to do is that if you go, I think we have other navigation, the headers and the footers, right, that allow you to go back and forward. But I'm sure you can figure that out. What I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about the widgets, right, and how they might be rendered with the cogs and whatnot, and they all render a little bit different. Okay, so let's take a look at that now.